Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we're going to take a first look at Thane, the son of Thanos, the Inhuman Universal villain of this update, and really the big surprise. And the thing that's going to continue to surprise you about Thane, I think, from the APK to when you finally get him in the game yourself, is I'm not really sure what he's good for. He definitely seems to lean towards PvP from the fact that his leadership has the debuff, which is usually an indicator of PvP potential. And then he's got a 70% chance to penetrate for 5 seconds, but it's on a 10-second cooldown, which means half the time he has 0 penetration, which is really bad. And then he does have a heal here for 30%, which is really nice. And he's got all defense down, minus 50 for 7 seconds, which is really, really good. And he's got a nice 30-30-30 buff with the crit rate. But I don't know. It's just, yeah, he just doesn't seem good enough for anything. Like 20% ignore dodge for 4 seconds. He doesn't really hit hard enough. His tier 2 passive Dark Instinct is just not that good. 30% damage reduction is okay, but yeah. And then Guide to Death, you know, the cooldown, they got to get rid of the cooldown. They need to just give him a flat 70% chance to penetrate. They could lower it to 50 or 40% chance to penetrate, but it has to be just active as a passive. Having this cooldown business is just nonsense. And so, yeah, I think Thane is more PvP focused, but I honestly have no idea because he doesn't seem to excel at either. And for a character that is premium, right, you get him via the BIOS subscription. You have to pay real money. For a character that is a very coveted type, he's universal, villain, and he's inhuman. So he's got a lot of tags that are important together. He just doesn't do enough. And besides that 30% crit rate buff, it's really hard to cap his other skills because he just doesn't have enough stats and he doesn't have a uniform. So maybe in the future he's going to get his Phoenix uniform and that might make him terrifyingly strong. But for right now, you can see my build is kind of sad. I'm at 44% cooldown, and that is with 4 Odin's Blessings for physical attack cooldown. Now, the other weird thing about Thane, he seems like a mess of a character. He is a physical attack character. You can see there, his damage is going to scale based on his physical attack. It's almost 26,000, but all of his attacks are either energy damage or flame energy damage. So yeah, it's all energy of physical or fire of physical. So you need physical attack on your cards and you need physical Uru, but he deals energy damage. So you wouldn't use him against Proxima, you'd use him against Cull Obsidian. Very, very strange. And you'd think 50% all defense down, that's good, right? It's not that good. It's just not that good. Now, he does have a new ability called Amberize, and it looks beautiful in game. And it looks, the little icon for it is beautiful. He's got Amberize on 2. Or sorry, no Amberize on 2. He's got Amberize on 3 for 2 seconds and 5 for 3 seconds. So he has 5 seconds of sort of like mind control. But yeah, it just doesn't really do enough, man. I don't really know what they wanted to use Thane for. This is the team I was trying Thane out with. So you're getting the buff from Black Bolt's leadership, the Inhuman buff. Then you're getting the Inhuman buff from Medusa's support passive to give you 45% more damage against supervillains. And then you are getting the energy attack dodge crit damage stat with the cooldown there. So he's basically capped on cooldown now with this team up here. But as you're going to see, I just don't know. I think they need to buff Thane. I would really like them to... when they introduce these new abilities like Amberize, they should really do more to make these abilities useful in content in a specific way. You know, maybe Amberize deals more damage to machine types because of the way that it functions, or it deals more damage to things that are alive. So maybe it deals less damage to machine types and more damage to human types. I don't know, or human allies, right? The human tag. I don't know, but it just... Amberize just feels like anything else, like stun. It's a little bit more than stun. It feels like time freeze, essentially, and you'll see what I mean. So we're going to open with the 3 for the Amberize. Then we're going to do the 4. We're going to get this slash off. That's a CTP of Rage, but that hasn't triggered yet. We're going to Amberize again here. Then we're going to Amberize again. And you can see the Amberize icon at the top there. What does he do here? Okay, he does Amberize on 5. We're going to do Amberize on 3 for the all defense down. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Amberize again. There's the Amberize icon. It's really cool. The icon's beautiful, right? Amberize again. Amberize again. I mean, it looks really nice, but his damage is just certainly worse than a lot of other characters, right? So it begs the question, like, why would you use Thane when you could use anyone else? Right, I can't Ambrise there because he has the debuff up. Like, he's got really cool animations, beautiful animations, and he's got a beautiful new skill effect, right? Not a bad character. I'm not saying he's bad at all. It's just he's not going to blow you out of the water, right? This is like a full build CTP of Rage. It's not a perfect build for sure, but he can barely do stage 50, and, you know, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty impressive, I guess. That's actually pretty impressive. I was kind of underselling it a little bit. He does seem good. I'm just not sure why you would use him, let's say, over his father, over Thanos, or over another character in that situation, right? So he may just be a good two-way character. We'll have to wait and see. He does have a heal, which is nice because he gets to sustain. He's also got a long iframe on 4, so you can kind of sit in that. It's got beautiful animations as well. So, yeah, I mean, you can do a really nice 5-4-3 combo. I guess you're getting this done, right? But stage 50, he's not going to go too much higher with strikers. And with minus 50, you're not going to go too much higher with a debuff lead like Voodoo, right? So he's got very powerful skills, right? He's got invincibility on 3 with a heal. And then he's got, immunity with a heal on 3. And then he's got invincibility on 5 with the Amber Eyes, right? And then he's got damage on 4. So he's definitely got a lot going for him. And he's got bleed. But yeah, I'm just not sure where he's going to fit into the game at this point in time. And because he's an Inhuman, unless they change squad battle, if they do change squad battle, then it's definitely possible that Thane will have some value as an Inhuman, especially if you don't have the CCF, you don't have the materials to take Black Bolt up to tier 3. But, you know, they're going to be, unless it's Inhuman Villain, if they do an Inhuman Villain tag, then Thane is literally the only one they can use. There's 2 Inhuman Villains. There's Lash and Thane, and obviously between Lash and Thane there is a massive gulf of difference, right? Thane and Lash, it's like night and day. Where the heck is Lash? So yeah, between Lash and Thane, it's an absolute joke, right? But if they don't do that, he's not as bad as like Baron Zemo, but he sort of gives me Baron Zemo vibes in the sense that what is he really supposed to do, right? What is he really? Just do the stage with a better character. If he was physical damage instead of energy, I could understand it more, because we don't have that many universal characters that deal physical damage, especially universal villains that deal physical damage. Pretty much every universal villain in the game deals physical damage. They all deal energy damage, right? It's universal villains. Most of Thanos' damage is energy. You see Anti-Man's is energy, Ebony, Dormammu is energy, Doctor Doom is energy, right? Even the heroes, both of the Novas are energy, Falabella energy. Slapstick is one of the few, and I actually highlighted Slapstick when he came out because it was rare to see a physical universal, and he's a hero, not a villain, right? So maybe that could have been something, but it's not. So I'm not sure. I really just do think if they tweak his passive, if they tweak this passive and make the penetration more consistent, and if they give him something else, some other defensive passive, he could be very good for PvP. But otherwise, I think that he's a character that you could probably pass up on with confidence, because unless you love the character, because he's not going to do it better than anyone else in PvE, right? He's not going to be better than Black Bolt in PvE, because Black Bolt can go up to 98% all defense down, and he's not going to be better than these other characters in PvP, because they're going to be able to go and do, you know, even more. But we're going to throw him into PvP now, and I'll show you what he looks like on this team. We're going to use his own leadership, and we're going to give him like a full host of offense and defense to see what he can do. So I think he is going to be better for PvP, but the thing is that with Thane, like Wolverine, he doesn't do enough damage with his 4th skill when the enemy that you're fighting has, you got a good kill there, when they have their debuff immunity up. When the debuff immunity is down, as you'll see, his damage spikes. So you see there, he was almost able to kill her point blank with just his 4th skill. And that is because his 4th skill actually stacks burn and bleed damage. Now, if you don't have debuff immunity, Thane will rip you to shreds. But the thing is, in PvP, everyone uses debuff immunity. So that's really the key there on Tartarus Crash. He deals 40% burn damage every second for 4 seconds, and 30% bleed every 1 second for 3 seconds. Now the burn, I don't know about the burn, but the bleed will ignore a CTP of regen, just like Wolverine's 5th skill also ignores a CTP of regen, and we've documented that in YouTube videos. But you still have a situation where if they have their debuff lead up, which you'll have 12 seconds out of every 20 seconds, so you have a small 8-second window to do damage, you don't do any damage, right? So here he deals 35% bleed damage for 5 seconds, and that's part of what makes his Berserker Slice so good. But if you don't have that debuff lead, or if you have the debuff up, then the skill does no damage. So you'll see here, we're just gonna wait for the cooldown, and well, if we can actually get it off, we're gonna see here, this is like no damage, right? No damage at all. But once you get the debuff down, no, still no damage. Here's gonna be big damage. Here's big damage, see? And it cuts through the CTP of regen as well. But now we're back to 0 damage. All this Jean has to do to kill me is use her 5th skill. Oh, we amberized her. That was pretty cool. Okay, well, he got the kill there. He can almost hang with her, which is kind of impressive. But with the debuff up, you can see his skill does like no damage, right? With the debuff down, then you'll see that the damage just spikes. Wow, he actually got her there. That was actually really impressive. I didn't expect to see that much damage out of him. There's the... Oh, I ignored his Tartarus Slash. It's so cool when you have two characters that can sort of duke it out long term, and it's not just a 1 second blink and you're done fight. You can see the abilities and you can see the skills and the animations. It looks so beautiful. I really think the devs need to, when they rework PvP, they really need to spend time figuring out how to slow down the fights and reduce the damage. You don't want the fights to go for too long, but we've definitely been living in an MFF world where the fights are over in just the blink of an eye, and that's really frustrating because the majority of the time you want to see your characters deal damage. Oh, almost had her there, and we're dead. Oh yeah, we're dead. You want to see your characters deal damage. You want to see sort of a back and forth, right? It's like a boxing fight. You don't want to sign up for a fight or buy a ticket for a fight that's over in 1 round. I mean, it can be exciting, sure, but seeing Mike Tyson in his prime knock guys down in 13 seconds is great, but you don't want to see that night in and night out. It would be, not only would it be overload, but you would sort of just lose the appreciation for the sport that you're watching in a way, because you're not really seeing any of the slugfests. You're not seeing these guys who put in months of work, and that's how you can feel with some of these characters, right? You spend months of your resources building these characters up, and then they die in 1 or 2 seconds. So here, this is what you're used to, right? You catch Jean Grey off guard for 1 skill, and then she does her 5th, and you're just dead, and you can't do anything, you can't move, nothing happens, and it's just over. And this is why, you know, most characters don't have a fighter's chance unless they're given iframe ignore, revive, auto reflect, unless they're given, you know, invisibility. That's what made Black Widow so good, because she could go invisible and stop Jean Grey altogether. But if you can't, then this is what happens to most PvP characters. So we're actually going to get a pretty good start here. We're not going to lose most of our HP, and we're going to get this slash skill off. You want to, I guess, go into the 5th and then into the 4th. Okay, we got a nice kill there. The Amber looks beautiful, right? Here we should have the debuff down, so we should end her. No, not quite. There we go. We did end her. Now we have to fight the king here. We get the 4th skill off. So you can see the damage is, if you don't have debuff up, the damage is just savage, right? So he definitely has a place in PvP. It's just, can he hang with these ultra heavyweights? I kind of doubt it, right? I think that penetration definitely needs to be more consistent, because otherwise half the time he's going to seem really good when he gets the penetration to fall, and then the other half of the time when the penetration doesn't fall, he's going to feel like a joke, because then he's not going to, you know, penetrate shields. He's going to get stopped by invincibility, etc. But the bleed on 4 is always going to knock off the... Oh, we're in trouble here. We got the 4 there. The bleed is always going to knock off the shield from the regen. So we amberized, but she went invisible. Okay, so we're going to have to wait for an opening here to do our... Oh, we couldn't. Oh, wow. And he gets completely rocked. So we were trying to do 4, but it didn't work out. So yeah, he still has his weaknesses. No iframe ignore. no way to stop those types of characters. But of course, we have the mighty Colossus, who can just reflect if this lady doesn't go into her 5th skill iframe. Yes. And now it's the great Colossus versus Colossus, the moment you've all been waiting for. Yeah. The only fight that truly matters. And we got it, boys. Colossus strikes again. So, I definitely think that Thane has more value in PvP, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he needs more HP. Maybe, you know, he's actually got a decent HP pool. We're at 57,000 HP. He actually does have quite a high amount of HP, I should say, for a level 70 tier 2 character. He's got almost 23,000 HP for a non-awakened, non-tier 3, non-native tier 2. But I still think he needs more. I do still think he needs more to be a contender. Maybe if they gave him like an extra 20% base HP or something like that, or maybe an HP shield. And again, that's with 4 HP Odin's Blessings. So he's not going to gain. You could slap on 8 HP Urus, but he's not going to go too much higher than that. So I think he's going to probably top out at about 63, maybe 65,000 HP, which is sort of where Silver Surfer was before he got his uniform. And that's a tier 2 Silver Surfer who does not revive. So how likely would you be to use a tier 2 Silver Surfer without his uniform who doesn't revive and doesn't have iframe ignore and doesn't have a reflect? That's right, you wouldn't use him. Welcome to Thane's world. So Bobby's World Part 2. Let me know what you guys think of Thane. I think the devs should build him up a little bit more, or at least give us a bit more of an indication of where they want us to use Thane if they are going to sell him for money. Otherwise, he should be free to play and he should be able to be farmed by everyone for free. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.